All right. Another roguelike. Uh, let's see. I accidentally left my laptop on in the bag, so I'm down to 43%. So this is probably going to be a short one. Let's see. So where I left off was the game was working, so we actually got that going. Let's go ahead and build. So that is good. But there's a lot of stuff got to do. I got to go back in here because since the game's going to be running, I got to make sure there's no memory leaks, things like that. As a matter of fact, I need to add that to where is it? The list to do here. There's a lot to do, but I'm under a lot of stress for getting a job and having money. Uh, I guess just prove code. So that'll be an ongoing one there. And that's probably because there's still a few things we need to do. So I'm gonna run this real quick. Where's it at? Plus, I think I still had that test code in there. Wow, that's a big open space with no walls. Wow, there's some food. Barely got any walls. Did I change the code to do walls? I don't think I did. I'm so excited with this. Can't wait to put a lot more stuff in it. Like different levels. See, this would be like level 1. Well, you can see it right here, the L, level 1. Oh, wait a minute. Look at all this. One is 1. Offense, defense, 1 and 1. Did I just not set those or is something just not working there? It's no big deal at right now, but there's a monster. I guess I'm not doing anything with that. Does okay, so reset doesn't work, which I really don't need reset. I'm not going to allow reset in the middle of a game. That's really for test purposes. But what I want to do right now is go through the code and see what's going on. So we have game. Let's just do a walkthrough. Oh, here it is right here. We don't need the get character right now until we start. We need that for debugging, really. So we don't need that. So the first thing it does is it creates a game object and then calls game start. Game start is, well, first of all, let's go through the constructor. Where's the constructor at? Usually I have them on bottom. Yeah, here it is. So it initializes game. It should be up here. Generator screen console game objects. The random generator, I'm probably going to go with, what is it, the MT 19937. That's in C++. I'll probably do that. And then what does it do? It calls a. I don't need to go through all these. I know what that does. At least not yet. I need to change this. See how it's not consistent with the other ones? Kind of want to be consistent on stuff like that. And then I've got them categorized, in order for by type. This is the constructor. It sets everything to null. Number of keys is 6. So some of this stuff can be changed. And then it calls run game after it initializes everything. Yeah. This code here is not really hooked up there. I don't need a restart, so let's change this out. Restart's a little more complicated now because of the objects, because of the state. So in the procedural code, there was just a go to there where you could just go to because the whole thing was just one function. Now all the setup and everything else is outside that function in different objects. So we'd have to run through that again. And some of these you don't want to set up again. Like we could do, we could look at restart here. These need to be ran on restart. This does not. So this comment is out of date. That's one of the criticisms about using comments is they become out of date, and they do. So you really got to be vigilant in hunting those down. Because you don't need to redo the random generator. You don't need to initialize screen again. None of this. You don't need to, well, you do have to do all this. This is the kind of stuff you want to do, but you got to look at that. Right now, it's not important for me to be able to restart since it was always testing code, so I really don't need that. Um, the game will end if you get less than 0, so restart. We don't need this. Get that out. So running is false. That should be set when you hit the Q button. It should set this, I think. Let's go look. Where is it? Here. Yeah, is running is false. I'm just going to comment this out. I may want this later. Well, sometimes you do need it. So on here, it automatically restarted when your health got less than 0, which we don't want that. So this whole thing can go away. We need to handle the death though. I think what we'll do is this. We'll just check for health here. And then here, but instead of this, we're just going to do, we could just loop it at this point. But if you do a loop on death, you got to put back in the restart. So we'll, I think there's better ways of doing it though. I think we may go to a messaging system. That way, when it runs out of health, we can go into a loop here where it says like you died or something like this, or no more health, and then it sends a message to restart the game or go to a title screen. That's probably what'll happen. It'll go to a screen. Let me put that in the notes. We really need that. Um, so it'll be I don't know about message system. Maybe I thought I had that in here though. Did I already got that? Yeah, right here. This is yeah, it's a maybe. Okay. Um. All right. What was the other one? I lost track of what I was thinking. Oh. Oh, title screen. Oh. Let's see. Title screen. So we can do that, and then so right here, I'm gonna go ahead and end the game. It's less than 0. Clear info section. Fine. And now here we don't need this. We do need this. And then remember, we got to send how many characters are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then an extra one for the null character. I really need to purchase Sublime. Okay, so let's test that out. Make sure that's working. And so this will end up being changed. But now at this point, you'll be able to keep going. You'll just go into a negative health, but it will it will go in. Oh, wait a minute. We're not checking for is running here. So is running should be false when your health gets down to 0. Is there anywhere? Let's go to player. Because that's another thing I didn't see. Okay, hold on a minute. Let's do this. I forgot to check if health was going down as we are walking around in the game. So let's go check that out. I gotta recompile. Alright, so see if our health goes down. We start with 50. Yeah, it does. So that works. Our health is going down. I'm super excited about this. I'm like fumbling around in here. Can't wait to put teleporting and all this other crap in here. All right, I'm very good. All right, does quit work? Yes, quit works. All right, so that works. So what we need, where is that? So that means the is running is probably being decremented too with each step. So where's that gonna be? See, the only problem, or one of the big problems with, or the annoyances of having OO code, is you got to hunt for things when you used to have like one main function which had all this. All right, with the player, let's go to player. Where's player at? Entity. So there should be some kind of health where we're setting it. Okay, right here, 50. So let's set this to 5. Let's see, eat food. Okay, that does that. Pick up treasure, update. Okay, so it should be in the update. That sounds about right. So, get keys, okay. PY is greater than 1, okay. Why did I do PY greater than 1? This is when you need comments. Ah, the hell was that about? PY, that's just the Y location. Why does it have to be greater than 1? What happens if it's 0? Oh, this is the code to go up. Okay. I did have a comment. Yay. All right, that is not what I was looking for. Yay for comments. Okay, player position here. Okay, update player health. So it is good. It's in the update thing. If it moved, then it does it. Okay, here it is. P health is less than 1. Second line you did. So this already works here. We don't need that other one. It's already in here. So when we go back to game, we don't need this code here in the loop. This right here, it already has it in the player. So the player controls the is running thing. So we don't need this. So we only had that for the restart. Okay, fine. What else is there? Handle keys. So let's go to game cycle. Yeah, this looks odd in here, isn't it? Probably should be inside game cycle. This just resets the keys array. Um, there's probably another way to do that. This is just a simple way of doing it. Um, I don't know because it doesn't keep the state from cycle to cycle. So we may end up also, I'm not sure yet, may go to a proper game loop, especially if we make a graphical front end. We'll need that. But we're a long way from that, so we won't worry about it right now. Okay, so let's look at game cycle right here. So we call player update, update player first line. So these are all the offense and defense and all that is all one. So let's go to player ref. I don't think the random number generator is hooked up in here. Okay, it's probably an initialized player. So here, okay, PX old PX. Okay, so looks like. Oh, okay, so it's all set to 1. So that's because our the combat system's not in place. When you hit a monster, nothing's going on with that. Um, and that will be in the movement code when we hit a monster. It's probably encoded in each direction. Let me see. Because when we go left, because I remember some of these were hooked up in one direction only because I was testing. Yeah, monsters aren't even in this. Treasure, food, and wall is our food and treasure. And this is all the same code, so you can actually. Only thing that changes on these is what variable you're updating, X or Y, and whether you're incrementing or decrementing. So we could actually make a function that takes that and the operation and just use one function for this because it looks like it's the same stuff. Okay, so the monster code I was testing with was only in the up direction. See here, right here. Yeah, it does not equal monster. Then it does this. If it does equal monster, well, actually, it does not equal game wall. So actually, this will be triggered on a game wall too. We need to cache the get tile at because it's being called twice. So if we run into a wall, say this is if it's not a wall, Yeah, and this here, see how we're calling get tile twice? So this is the kind of stuff we're doing. Um, where's it at? For this here, improve code. You see it runs, but that's not efficient. And even though we can't tell with our vision that it's slowing down or inefficient, just looking at this code, an audit would trigger on this. Or if you brought this into a code review, um, yeah, it's not going to pass. So, as a matter of fact, this might be a good exercise to have on my AI series now to have it go through. I want to see if it catches stuff like this. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to fix this right now. So I'm going to make that other video and see what it recommends as far as code maintainability and actually writing maintainable code. You know, good practice code. It's just all this needs to be cached. The get tile, that's not changing. So I want to see if it catches stuff like that. So we do need to do that. Let's go ahead and add a note in here. It's not really a bug, but I guess we could have another category. Hmm. Or maybe put it under notes or something. Um, I don't know. Do I really need to log that? Maybe under improvements. Let's see. Uh-oh. How do you spell unnecessarily? Oh, this is such a hard word. Good God. Ah, that's bad. Do I get a squiggly? No. You know what? Wonder. Hold on, I gotta pull this up on my phone. It's driving me crazy. I don't like spelling errors in the code. Uh, all right. Copilot. I think there's two N's, right? Okay, here it is. I just had to pull it up in my phone's little keypad thing. The look ahead. Okay, so there's UNN. Oh, that's way wrong. NNEC. Two S's. Oh, wait. One L. Unnecessarily. So two N's and two S's. I gotta remember that. Okay, make code. That's a spelling mistake. Use caching instead of calling the same function unnecessarily. Okay. I shouldn't say not unnecessarily. Should be more simple than that. More than once. In the same function. Oh my god. Okay, that's pretty specific there. Caching instead of calling the same function more than once. Okay, cool. Do I really need in the same function though? I don't need that. All right, enough of that. Okay, all right, what else? Ow, just hit my elbow. Which juice we got? 36. At some point it goes like drops to 1 or something. Okay. Um, so we got that. Use caching. We changed that to 5, so let's go ahead and make sure we expire when it runs out. Now it's just going to close the program, which is not ideal. We really want that title screen. May have to put that in there. All right, let's do can't eat any food. Yeah, okay. So that ends. So it does expire. Put that back to 50. And we may go to a different system here too when you eat food, and the damage and all that stuff might be in floats instead of integers. Um, I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? I think well, I don't know. All right. So what can we do right now? We could do the monster, the combat. Now remember too, we got to put code in that can handle levels. Let me see this real quick, because right now we can't handle levels. Plus we need to rename world to level, and you're going to have multiple levels. So what would happen though, a lot of this initialization code and stuff is going to go into the level, because what we need though is a way out, because that's what we need. We need like a staircase going up or down, something like that, that triggers the new level. Now we don't want up at this point to go back up, because when you go back up, you got to load the same level up. So before we can do that, we have to change our random number generation, because we have to have the same number, the seed. Otherwise, it's not going to generate the right map, because we don't want to store maps. So, okay, there's a lot to do with that. Let's get a staircase going down. So for right now, you can't go back up. You can only go down. Um, where's that going to be? Ooh, it's probably be in miscellaneous one. Well, it should be in the world, so, or in the level. Or would it be game world? It would be game, wouldn't it? Is that where all the characters are? Yeah, right here. So let's add one for, I don't know, should we call it exit or um, stairs? Or, hmm, downstairs maybe? Equals. What would it be? So what's good for a stairway? I'm looking at the keyboard now. We could do like a slash. Um, like that maybe. Or that. It kind of looks down. Of course, you gotta have two of them. Or maybe a big D for down. So right now we're gonna go with a D. And then we need to draw it. So that's another thing. Where's this at? Should be an initialization code here. Initialize screen, blah blah. World. Okay, we gotta go over to world now. Monsters, world. It's probably in world. What we're doing. Oh, no, we're not. Place monsters in cavern, place treasure in cavern. So we'll have one here. Called, place, we could call it exit, but I think there's going to be an up later. I'm trying to think right now because does it make sense to even have an up? Or should it just be like unlimited? You just keep going forever, especially if it's randomly generated. Because we can do that. As long as we're not storing state, we can just, go on forever. We just need to store, well, we do have to store seeds if we go back up. So we would have an array or a vector, and we would keep the seeds for each level. And that way, when you go back up, you can just index it back into there to grab it, grab the seed out. And then you could generate that same level again. The problem is, why do we want to? And I don't know. So at this point, we're not going to put it in. Now, if maybe if there's a teleport function or some kind of something in there that randomly puts you on a level, um, now that would be a different story because then you could go back up and you probably never even have seen that level before. Like if you hit some teleporter and you go to level 98 and now you go up to 97, you've never been there because you teleported in. So that's one use case. So there's a lot of design issues still got to go through. um, so yeah, right here. Going here to world. Place treasure in cavern here. A lot of this has to be reorganized too. It's going to be like this, but just one time. Food and cavern. Okay, so it's probably this kind here. It's pretty much the same exact thing as this. Now, here's another thing. Um, at some point, you'll have spells or some kind of tool that you could use to like bust through a wall. So you could actually have like treasure or something inside a big bunch of walls that you normally couldn't get to. Of course, you couldn't see it, but I think you're going to be able to just bust down walls and stuff in the game and kind of reveal maybe what's in there or something. But we're not at that point, so we shouldn't put it in. But the reason I brought that up is because maybe the exit's hidden like that, to where you can't see it. And then you're thinking, you're on level 39 and you can't see an exit. It's like, hey, what's going on here? Start busting walls. But actually, I shouldn't even said that because that could have been a surprise in the game that nobody knows about. I got to put in an Easter egg in here. Okay, I better hurry up because we're going to run out of juice here. So it's pretty much the same thing here. I remember this, we were playing around. This doesn't need to be up here anymore. This can be right here. Remote screen height. So we're going to do this here. Let's just copy this whole thing. Copying code isn't necessarily bad when you have two different things working in the same way, which is what this is doing. But I think it needs to be just one function. Because some like Primogen, if you watch Primogen, he mentioned one time that you should copy it maybe 3 times and then refactor it into a function call. I believe too, if you duplicate, you should probably, because this is the exact same thing right now. We just got to change this here. See, if it's a floor, we're gonna put a exit there. So here we would put down. What is it downstairs? And that's it. So if it's a floor, it puts it there. Otherwise, it goes back to the top, redoes it, and that's it. But we can't do this. We actually have to put this down here. Oh, that's why we didn't have. Look at that. That's why you're only going to have one food. That's a bug. Because see, it goes back to the start, but it uses the same coordinates. See that? That's actually a bug. We need to change that. So we need to put this in there. Random, random, random. It's right here. Yay, we fixed a bug. Or we changed it. And then this one. this. These are no longer needed. That's why we didn't see too much food. We used to see more food. So there we go, right there. Treasure has to have the while because it determines how many treasures going to be in there. You could have up to, looks like 4 treasures. So this here is the same thing. So change it out with this. There, width and height. Okay, get rid of this. Do not need that anymore. Is this bright enough? Here I'm at the end of it, and now I'm seeing if it's bright enough. Sun's not up, so it gets too bright. Okay, we did that. Fix the bug. Downstairs. Are we actually calling that? Where do we do that at? Anyway, right here. Do that. Where's my home key? World ref. Place down. What is it? Place downstairs in cavern. Copy that. And that is public. Okay. All right, so that is called. All right. So let's compile that. Whoops. And then see if we get that. Let me see here. Downstairs, no member game. Okay. Did I not add it? I did not. Okay. Downstairs. Okay. Went to the wrong one, didn't I? I did. All right, what am I doing now? Redefinition and world. 296. What do I do now? 296. It's usually whatever you put in there, you know. Oh, duh. I really don't need to do it like that. You could do this either way. You could put the int there because I think it's gonna, the compiler's gonna take care of that. I don't really like to think like that, you know. Oh, I'll just leave int in because, you know, because we keep looping. and the compiler will optimize it out. I don't really like that. I mean, even if it will, I don't like writing code like that. So try not to. Okay, now what? Undeclared identifier game instance, game instance. Oh, that's in the new thing, isn't it? 296, same thing. Oh, where's it at? 296 game instance here. This is one of those weird bugs. Oh, I always forget this. That is so crazy. C++. You're killing me. All right, back to here. Okay, we got that. So let's run this and see if we can get it downstairs. Wow, monster right off the bat. But, what are we doing here? Here we go. Walls. Is there any D's? Where is our... Another monster? Oh no. Yeah, at some point the monsters will move too. Did I find something? Oh no, I'm trapped. Good grief. Stupid fog of war. Man, there's monsters everywhere. Well, I guess we don't get a D. Unless I accidentally hit it. I bet you I accidentally hit it. You know? I guess we could try back up in here. I wonder if I accidentally did it. Does anybody see a D? I'm gonna run out of health. Look at that. I've only got 3 health. Haven't seen food either. I'm gonna die. Oh no. Man. Alright. Well, that was no good. Ah, what did I do? Come on, Visual Studio. I don't know why you pulled up, but you need to shut down. Oh, because I hit the dot H. Okay. Monster there. There's no food. Did I hit something? No. I'll just go through the monsters. Another monster. Oh, there's food. Okay. Finally. Yay. I don't see a D. Another monster. Ah, there we go. So we do have a D. Yay. So that would be your exit. So that's about what I expected. You really don't know if there's even one in there. Maybe there's not. That's another design issue. Maybe there's levels that are hard to get to, or you gotta have some other way of getting into them. So not guaranteed to have one. A lot of design, and that's part of the fun of making stuff like this is I'm gonna press Q, quit, is the design of it. You can do anything you want. It's great. So, all right, thanks for coming along on this one. Like, share, subscribe. It helps grow the channel. And I appreciate your time on this. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're making. Hey, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.